Good morning, afternoon, or evening from wherever you are joining us. My name is Stefan Huibrechts. I'm a cloud consultant at Quister, and I'm joined today by Prashant from Oracle. Perhaps you can introduce yourself a little bit, Prashant.
Sure, Stefan. Good morning and good evening, everyone. My name is Prashant. I am from the JDE Edwards product management team. They take care of areas related to platforms and OCI, and I'm excited to be part of the JDE Edwards talk today and talk to you about Reimagine your JDE Edwards on OCI.
Thanks very much, Prashant. All right, then I think we will kick off right away. So the stage is yours, Prashant.
Thank you, Stefan. Good morning and good evening, everyone. So today we will be talking about reimagining your JDE Edwards on OCI and why OCI is the best platform to run your JDE Edwards on. So to start with, let's look at the overall value proposition of Oracle Cloud, and we will talk more details about Oracle Cloud capabilities and how it is the best cloud to run your JDE Edwards on. Oracle Cloud provides you a complete set of cloud capabilities, which includes all the services that you need to build, run, and scale your application. So it provides everything related to infrastructure, platform, software as a service in one single cloud. So you get everything that is required for your application. Be it compute, operating systems, containers, storage, networking, or integration. At the infrastructure layer, you get all the capabilities that you require. So for example, in the compute area, you get an option of various hardware vendors, be it Intel, AMD, that you want to use on flexible shapes, that you want to use based on your workload requirements. And on the storage level, you get various options like block storage, high performance storage, etc., that you can use based on your storage requirements as well. In terms of developer service, Oracle Cloud offers you developer services such as VBCS, where you can develop your own application. On the Oracle databases layer, you get options to deploy your database on infrastructure as a service. You can also use the cloud services such as base database or the Exadata cloud service or even the autonomous database. You also have options related to the open source databases, and also the analytics and BI components is very heavy in terms of Oracle Cloud infrastructure. So Oracle Analytics Cloud provides you a wide range of capabilities that really boost your analytics workforce as well. In terms of AI and machine learning capabilities, Oracle Cloud offers you various options related to AI infrastructure. There's machine learning that is also embedded within the various platforms that we offer. For example, the AI vector search in the recently announced Oracle Database 23 AI, or even the MySQL database, and also a wide range of AI services that are ready-made available that you can plug and play with your application. And also, you can also have a data lake where you're sharing data across a wide range of applications as well. On top of all this sits the Oracle applications. So you could use these SaaS applications, which could be ERP, EPM, SCM, or HCM, and also build some custom applications using the tools that Oracle Cloud provides, which could be traditional cloud native applications as well. You also have access to a wide range of ISV applications through the OCI marketplace, which you can use and plug and play with your existing application that is hosted on Oracle Cloud for any specific business requirements that you might have. Oracle Cloud has been expanding its footprint across the globe. So we have now expanded to 72 regions. As of May 2024, we have 48 public regions, 24 dedicated regions, and a lot of Alloy and multi-cloud regions as well. And this makes it a much more comprehensive cloud, be it for your database disaster recovery requirements or for your regional requirements. You can have your cloud deployed on any of the regions where Oracle Cloud is already available. So it's time for a poll. We have a very interesting poll to identify whether you are currently running your JDE Edwards on Oracle Cloud or not. So Walter, Stephen, can you put the poll live? We can have our audience answer the poll.
Yes, I believe the audience can now see the poll in the chat. Let's take a minute for you to provide your answer to the question. So are you currently running your JDE AdWords on the Oracle Cloud is the question.
I think that's the answers in, chaps. So 50% are running on the Oracle Cloud, 25% are planning to move to Oracle Cloud. Some are still in the planning stage.
Thank you so much, Walter. That's a very interesting poll result. So we have a lot of people who are familiar with Oracle Cloud. So we will focus more on the capabilities that Oracle Cloud provides, which you might not be aware of as well. So Oracle Cloud provides flexibility and choice. We understand that customers have a variety of requirements. So starting with public cloud, where your entire application is hosted on Oracle's public cloud. You could also have the choice of multi-cloud, where you have different cloud providers based on the capabilities and differentiators that they offer. So we have a collaboration with Microsoft Azure and AWS, where we've offered the Oracle database service on Azure and also have interconnect with Azure as well. And we have MySQL HeatWave on AWS. Recently, we also announced the partnership with Google Cloud. So you have this interconnect with Google Cloud as well to deploy your Oracle database on Google Cloud. The next option is about the hybrid cloud, where you can use the clouded customer services, where the cloud services are made available in your data center. And you have the same experience and price performance similar to what you get in public cloud. And the last option is about having a dedicated cloud. So if you have any sovereign requirements, national security reasons due to which you cannot move to the public cloud, you can have a dedicated cloud with all the OCI services running at your data center as well. OCI offers a very unique architecture. We've learned from the competitors in this space, because we came after many of our competitors launched their public cloud. So we have made our architecture in such a way that it offers the best price performance for our customers. First off, we offer a off-box virtualization. So all the resources are kept separate from each other, providing maximum isolation and no overlap. So thereby providing the best performance and security. The network design is in a way non-blocking. So you have the optimized network providing consistent bandwidth across your resources at any given point of time without any fluctuations in your network. Sustainability is something that is built into Oracle Cloud, and we managed to achieve this by providing the maximum computing density per megawatt. So we have maximum number of cores that are packed into each megawatt. That makes us be able to come live with entire cloud region with just 12 racks. One of the key features of Oracle Cloud is the ability to have flexible infrastructure. So you can choose exactly the number of cores or memory that you want based on your requirements. So you do not need to over provision or under provision your infrastructure at any given point of time. So this provides you the maximum cost savings and thereby minimizing wastage as well. And our pricing is very simple and predictable. You can clearly see that we provide consistent pricing across the globe in various regions. We do not have any variations in pricing or changes of networking, etc., based on each region. So this is one of the key advantages of having predictable cost savings when you run on Oracle Cloud. So when you're choosing your cloud provider, there are two things that you look at. One is the performance. The second aspect is in terms of cost. So looking at performance, we offer the best-in-class performance in terms of compute, storage, and networking. So in terms of compute, we have the options of Intel, AMD, and ARM. So you can choose your hardware based on your price performance requirements, and with no contention and context switching and providing the thread level isolation, our compute systems are providing you the best performance that is possible with the financial backed performance SLAs. In terms of storage, when you compare OCI with rest of the cloud providers, we offer the lowest storage latency, 1/10 of the storage latency as compared to other cloud providers, and we offer maximum IOPS at the same time. So this way, the costing is also much more lower as compared to other cloud providers. So this is one of the best price performance that you can get across the competition in cloud space. In terms of networking, we offer a higher network bandwidth, and this cluster scalability is much more higher as compared to our competitors in the cloud area. The second aspect that you would look at is in terms of cost or pricing. So if you see, our pricing is much more lower than our competitors, AWS, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud. We offer the best pricing that is available, and it is much more lower than the rest of the competitors. As you scale your business, one of the key things that you would look at is in terms of how the cost incrementally increases based on your scaling of your business. So if you see, the most key aspects are the storage, compute, and network. And if you see all of them, these the way they will incrementally increase based on your growth of business is much more lower in OCI as compared to your AWS, Azure, or GCP, because their costing is much more higher, and as you scale up, the price would become much more larger as well. We are recognized as a leader by various analysts in different domains that Oracle Cloud provides. We've been the leader over multiple years, and we've been chosen the leader in various domains year on year. So that clearly showcases that Oracle Cloud is here to win, and it offers the best value for our customers. With that, we move to the next section of how you migrate your JDE Edwards onto OCI. So we will talk about some tools and frameworks that JDE Edwards team provides to migrate your JDE Edwards onto OCI. First, we will talk about why JDE Edwards customers are choosing to move to OCI. So the first reason is that it's much more easier to migrate your critical enterprise applications onto OCI. Oracle software runs best on Oracle Cloud, and we provide the tooling and frameworks that are required for you to expedite your migration to OCI, make it much more easier and simpler for you to migrate onto OCI. And OCI, as I mentioned earlier, provides a comprehensive set of cloud capabilities. So all the services that are needed to boost your digital transformation initiatives are available on OCI. Oracle Cloud is also offering autonomous services like the autonomous database, autonomous Linux, etc., that makes it much more easier for you to manage your infrastructure on OCI and having better security, scalability, and performance as well. Oracle Cloud offers you a wide range of choices based on wherever you are on your cloud journey. You could just be starting with your cloud journey, or you could be in a much more advanced stage, or you could have made multiple investments in various cloud providers. So we offer multi and hybrid cloud strategies and provide complete support to that. Oracle truly believes in security at everything we do, and Oracle Cloud has security that's built in by default, and that's a foundational component of Oracle Cloud infrastructure. And like we saw earlier, we offer the best price performance as compared to our competitors. That makes us the go-to solution for JDE Edwards customers to run their software on Oracle Cloud. The first tooling that we provide is JDE Edwards reference architecture. So this is basically a template solution that helps you to kickstart your journey onto Oracle Cloud. This is based on standard guidelines and best practices, and it is optimized for Oracle Cloud. So this has automated provisioning of the reference architecture that is recommended by JDE Edwards product team. So this provisions the JDE Edwards infrastructure and deploys all the required software onto your OCI deployment, and makes it much more easier for you to migrate quickly onto OCI. This also offers you a consistent implementation because this is something that is backed by the JDE Edwards product team. So it is having the common standards and patterns, and also it is much more easier for the JDE Edwards product team to support you, and it reduces risk from your standpoint as well. So we recognize that customers have different ways of how they migrate to OCI. So there are a few scenarios we think that customers might be looking at while they're migrating to OCI. The first is that they just want to get familiarized with OCI, how JDE Edwards run on OCI. So we have a trial or a sandbox that is available for customers on OCI. Customers can also be looking at provisioning new instances on OCI while they continue to have their old instances on-prem. They could also be looking at lifting and shifting their existing JDE Adverts installed from on-prem onto OCI as is. And the last option is to move and improve, like you move your entire JDE stack onto OCI. While doing that, you upgrade to the latest releases and 64-bit as well. So we'll look into each of these scenarios and the tooling that we provide for each of these. So the first one is a trial edition. So this is a quick JDE Adverts environment. This is a demo sandbox that is available on OCI Marketplace. You can quickly deploy it on a compute cloud service on OCI and play around with it with the demo data that is available to see what are the new features that are available in the latest release, how they work, and just to see how JDE Adverts works on OCI. So this is a starting point for you to get familiarized with JDE Adverts on OCI. The next aspect is provisioning new instances on OCI. So we offer Terraform infrastructure automation scripts that are available on OCI that automates the reference architecture that is backed by JDE Adverts product team. So this infrastructure automation creates all the subnets, security lists, storage, compute, etc., and also installs the software onto these machines as well. So this automation quickly enables you to get up to speed with all the infrastructure requirements. And once you have that, you run the one-click provisioning tool that consumes this base configuration and deploys all the JDE Adverts software on that, does all the wiring between the various servers. And by the end of the one-click provisioning cycle, you have your JDE Adverts up and running on Oracle Cloud in a matter of hours. So this makes it much more simpler for you to have your JDE Adverts up and running on Oracle Cloud when you have new instances. The third scenario is about lift and shift. So if you have your JDE Adverts currently deployed on your data center, you can lift and shift and move it to Oracle Cloud as is. So as of today, we have like-for-like migration that is available for Linux to Linux, Windows to Windows, Oracle database to Oracle database, SQL Server to SQL Server, and 9.2 to 9.2. So this particular lift and shift utility migrates all the business configuration, business data, customizations on the application patch level from your on-prem data center onto Oracle Cloud. And the last scenario is where you're moving and improving your JDE Adverts as you migrate to OCI. So let's say you start with a 32-bit JDE Adverts running on-prem. So you use the cloud migration utilities to extract the information and all the data from your on-prem system and move all the configuration and data onto OCI. You use the JDE Adverts one-click provisioning tooling to automatically provisioning your infrastructure and also deploy the JDE Adverts onto it. Then you use the simplified upgrade process to migrate from 32-bit to 64-bit. And while you're doing that, you also move to cloud. So you, as a part of your movement, you are also upgrading to 9.2 64-bit in the same process. And at the end of the scenario, you have your JDE Adverts running on Oracle Cloud with 64-bit code current provisioned with one-click provisioning. So Stefan, I just wanted to ask you, what are the typical scenarios that you've seen while you're working with customers? Which of these scenarios is something that's most common in the customers that you work with?
That's a great question. Thank you. Yes, I think most of the customers that we do help migrate to Oracle Cloud, they do in fact go for lift and shift. Although if they are not code current, it is actually more common that they will choose for the move and improve. So going to code current and taking care of all of the upgrades along the way. We see both scenarios quite a lot.
Thank you, Stefan. Thank you for that. Mm-hmm. So we'll pause here and see if you have any questions. So Walter, are there any questions that we need to answer at this point in time?
Let me just check the chat here. So do a lot of customers upgrade whilst they go to OCI, or is it just generally a kind of lift and shift? Is that more common?
Sorry, could you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, sorry. Do a lot of customers do an upgrade when they move to OCI, or do they just generally lift and shift? What's more common?
I would say lift and shift is a bit more common. What we see is that the choice to upgrade to the latest release, that is usually made later. because of course you have to realize that these changes, migrating your on-premise environment to the cloud, that already is a significant choice that you have to consider. So yeah, indeed, most customers, they lift and shift, and then afterwards, once they are settled and they are confident in their situation, then they will choose to perform the upgrade.
Great. And another question is, can an existing customer's configuration be compared against the best practices implemented for JDE template solution?
So we do publish the reference architecture, so that's publicly available. You can compare your existing architecture against that. In terms of configuration of the INI settings and all that, you will have to deploy using one click and then compare. That's the only way. We do not have any tooling to compare your existing configuration with your with the JDE Edwards template solution. So that is currently not available. So you'll have to do a separate deployment. But the architecture-wise, you can still compare because the architecture diagram is made publicly available. We published it, and you can compare it against that and see whether you match the reference architecture to a large extent.
Thank you. That's all the questions in the chat.
Thank you, Walter. So moving on, let's look at how you can extend your JDE Edwards application using the wide range of Oracle Cloud services that OCI provides. So I'll start with this diagram that I had in the initial part of this presentation. So we had this wide range of Oracle Cloud services. So I have now added areas where we have JDE Edwards team has invested and made some certifications and integrations possible for our customers to consume. So at this compute level, we have started to support dynamic hardware shapes. So you can use Intel, AMD chips for your hardware requirements for deploying your JDE Edwards onto OCI. On the operating system area, we started supporting the WebLogic images that are provided in the OCI marketplace. So you can deploy that using on OCI. So you have much better pricing, and you can save a lot of costs in terms of licensing and use a pay-as-you-go model as well. In terms of networking, we've started to support the flexible load balancer to enable you to have wide range of bandwidths through which you can have your JDE Edwards application running. On the developer services, we support the VBCS cloud service that enables you to build a wide range of applications on top of your JDE Edwards. On the Oracle databases area, we've been supporting the base database and XSCS for quite some time. Recently, we've announced the support for autonomous database, both dedicated and shared, and we also now support the automatic scaling of autonomous database as well. In terms of the AI and machine learning area, recently with our latest release, we've announced the support for authentication for OCI services, which enables you to call these OCI services REST APIs, and we will talk more about this in subsequent slides as well. At the base level, in terms of security, we've announced the support for vulnerability scanning service that enables you to scan your OCI deployments for any vulnerabilities that you might have. We also support using Oracle IAM for single sign-on and also web application firewall. And we also realize that the customers are moving more towards a multi-cloud strategy. Few of the customers have investments in other cloud providers as well. So as part of our aim to support those customers, we've also announced the support for Azure Entra ID with Oracle IAM for single sign-on as well. We have a few planned features that we have in the roadmap, like WebLogic images for Windows, OCI full stack disaster recovery service, and plugin for stack monitoring that are highlighted in pink. So we'll go more into detail of each of these features and talk more about it in the subsequent slides. Before we go there, we have another interesting poll. We want to know what JDE release you're currently on. So we have 4 different options. We'll give you some time to choose from those.
Thank you. I think the poll's available now in the chat. and it's split 50-50 actually. So it's 50% are on release 23.927 and 50% are prior, have no plans to move to the latest release in 23. Thank you.
Thank you, Walter. So hopefully I'm able to convince you to take your decision on to move to release 24. I'll talk about a few features that we've recently introduced in release 24 that might entice you and make you make that decision to move to release 24 as soon as possible. So the first one is the support for Microsoft Entra ID, or what it was called as Azure AD previously, as the identity provider with Oracle IAM, as earlier known as IDCS, or single sign-on. So we've made this available with release 24, tools release 9282. So with this capability, now customers who are having multi-cloud deployments between Oracle Cloud and Microsoft Azure can use Microsoft Entra ID as the external identity provider along with Oracle IAM. And this enables a centralized identity provider for the entire deployment on OCI, and provides a seamless single sign-on experience for customers. We validated the single sign-on for both HTML server and Orchestrator Studio as well. So this enables us to provide you a wide range of support across various scenarios. I know this is one of the most commonly asked support from various customers and partners. We've got multiple requests on this, and we're really happy to make this available finally to you. So Stefan, any comments on you from your side on this particular capability?
Well, I can at least vouch for the fact that people are indeed very interested in this functionality. Being able to integrate your identity provider with Oracle Cloud as well, and only having one credential to work with instead of the multiple credentials that you would have to go through normally. That is, of course, a big boon. Makes everything much easier and safer as well.
Thanks, Stefan. The next capability is about authentication for Oracle Cloud services, OCI services. So now Orchestrator has been enhanced to provide you the mechanism to authenticate to OCI services. So you can now invoke OCI REST API service through the JDE Edwards Orchestrator. So this has been made available with the recent release. JDE Edwards is following the enablement strategy for AI capabilities. So this is as part of our enablement strategy for AI. This is for one of our first building blocks, where through the orchestrator, you can invoke OCI AI service REST API, send the data from JDE Edwards through orchestrator to the AI service, allow the AI service to process that data and get the response back from the AI service back to JDE Edwards through the orchestrator. So we are now enabling you to leverage the power of Orchestrator along with the capabilities of Oracle Cloud AI services as well, and together have this enablement of AI capabilities within JDE Edwards. This is not only restricted to AI services. You can also invoke a wide range of OCI REST APIs that are available on Oracle Cloud as well with this capability. The next one we announced with release 24.928 is the support for manual and automatic scaling of autonomous database. So we've been supporting autonomous database serverless and dedicated for quite some time. Now, one of the key requirements that we got from multiple customers was to support the automatic scaling of autonomous database, which was a high value for most customers. So now you can scale your database up to 3 times more CPU and IO without any manual intervention when auto scaling is enabled. And this enables you to get the best performance and better utilization of your resources as well. So it will also help you stay prepared for any variations in terms of workload based on your business cycles. In terms of security, with release 23, we announced the support for flexible load balancer and web application firewall. So this provides you a much more scalable JDE Edwards deployment on OCI with flexible bandwidths that are provided from the flexible load balancer. It also greatly improves your security posture, because now with OCI web application firewall, you can block any malicious or unwanted internet traffic onto your JDE Edwards deployments, so thereby providing a much better security capability on OCI. One of our integrations with other cloud services is the Oracle Guided Learning with JDE Edwards. So Oracle Guided Learning allows users to be self-sufficient by providing in-application step-by-step visual guidance to users as they're doing a particular operation within the JDE Edwards. So this is more like a help, online help that is available always for customers and end users to use while they're doing their operation without disturbing the flow of their work. So that greatly provides a much better elevated user experience, and it also improves process adoption because it's much more easier to roll out any changes to processes through the Oracle Guided Learning interface, and everybody within your organization will be able to come up to speed, learn those new processes, and also it improves the overall user productivity as well. Oracle Guided Learning can also be integrated with other Oracle applications and also third-party applications. So if you have business flows that span multiple applications, starting from JDE Edwards, going to other external applications and coming back to JDE Edwards, you can use Oracle Guided Learning to guide your users step-by-step through that entire process that spans across these different applications. With release 23, we also announced the support for dynamic OCI hardware shapes. So you can choose between Intel and AMD hardware shapes with your one-click provisioning cycles. And we also provide support for flexible and burstable instances as well. So this removes the constraint of using standard hardware shapes, which we earlier had, where there were fixed hardware shapes that customers were forced to use. Now you have this choice of choosing the hardware shape based on your price performance requirements. And it also, because of this automation that is involved through the one-click provisioning cycle, it also saves a significant amount of time in terms of provisioning the hardware and makes it much more easier for you to migrate to OCI as well.
Just 1 second, Prashant. If we go back to the previous slide, the flexible and burstable instances, these for our customers at least, these seem to be very popular. And I think it's a significant advantage over the other cloud vendors because, correct me if I'm wrong, I think Oracle Cloud is one of the only vendors, maybe the only one, that actually offers these flexible shapes.
That's right, Stefan. Yes, that's one of our advantages over other customers. We understand that fixed shape and straight jacketed shapes will generally lead to over provisioning or under provisioning systems and not the optimal size of performance. So Oracle Cloud provides this level of flexibility in terms of choosing the number of CPUs and storage that you want to make it much more simpler for getting the right shape for your workload.
And in terms of burstable instances, can you maybe elaborate a little bit about what burstable instances can do for example, costs, things like maybe Windows-based or servers like that?
Yeah, so with burstable instances, you have the flexibility to increase or decrease your the OCPUs and storage based on the workload changes. So these can be increased and decreased based on storage. So you can have one level of standard level of OCPU and storage for your standard workloads, and as your workload increases, these burstable instances will quickly expand in terms of the capacity to service those requests and then come back to normal once the workload becomes normal. So that provides you that flexibility in terms of not having to over provision or have higher priced hardware. So you can have a standard hardware, and based on change of workloads, this instance would expand contract.
Thank you very much, Prashant.
Thanks, Stefan. Walter, do we have any questions that we need to answer in the Q&A?
No, we're good. We're good. Just carry on, Prashant. Doing great. Really interesting talk.
Thanks, Walter.
Sorry, we do have another question. Sorry, Prashant. How many JDE customers are now using the autonomous database?
We have around 8 to 10 customers who are live on autonomous database in various regions, including APAC, EMEA, and NA as well. Few of them are on ADB serverless, and few of them are on autonomous database dedicated. A few of them are in flight. A couple of them are on in flight currently. We do not have any public references. We have one reference in the APAC region that is available on oracle.com. And that customer is currently live on Autonomous Database serverless for almost a year now.
Excellent, thank you.
So Oracle Cloud has been evolving over the past several years. There have been multiple developments across the services that Oracle Cloud provides, and various aspects of Oracle Cloud also has evolved over the past several years. And we at JDE Edwards constantly keep a track of these developments and make sure that we adopt the developments that are of high value for our customer base. So over the past several years, JDE Edwards team has been consistently investing in Oracle Cloud capabilities and adopting and certifying capabilities that are of key value to our customers. In the recent past, like we mentioned earlier, we've developed the support for flexible load balancer, web application firewall, and automatic scaling and Azure Enter ID, along with the authentication for OCI services. So we continue to have a very strong backlog, and we have a strong future list of items that we want to cover in terms of providing support for centralized config and also the full stack disaster recovery service, looking at the WebLogic marketplace images for Windows and plugin for stack monitoring and a few other planned features as well. So as Oracle Cloud evolves and provides newer and newer services, and we see customer demand for those, we will start to pick up those and start expanding our investments in Oracle Cloud as it requires. With that, I hand it over to Stefan to walk you over one of the customer case studies that Quista has worked on, the Vanderlande case study, and I hope Stefan will incite you with that case study. Over to you, Stefan.
Thanks, Prashant. That's really interesting what you've had to say there for the first 38 minutes. Just keep tapping your questions into the chat, folks, if you want to ask anything about anything to do with the OCI piece. And now we're going to move on to Stefan, and Stefan's going to talk us through this case study, and I think it's going to be really interesting to a lot of people on the chat. So over to you, Stefan. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Walter. Thank you, Prashant. Very nice slides, Prashant. A lot of the features that we saw in your slides, many of them also were used by Vanderlande. I will now present a customer case about Vanderlande. Not sure how well known Vanderlande is, although I think most people in this chat have gotten in touch with their work because Vanderlande primarily develops things like conveyor belts and parcel sector technology. They're a market leader and global partner for future-proof logistic process automation, as I mentioned. They are located in Veghel, Netherlands. That's where their HQ is. They have 24 offices across the globe. Huge company, over 9,000 employees, with as well like over 1,000 JDE users, whereof 300 to 400 simultaneous users. So just to give you a bit of a background on Vanderlande themselves, with their journey to the Oracle Cloud, they started off using JDE Edwards on-premise. Initially, they had their JDE Edwards environment installed on DB2/AS400 infrastructure. And the project, when we took Vanderlande on, initially was estimated to last around, let's say, nine months or so, from July 2021 through March 2022. They had a move and improve. So as Prashant earlier mentioned, move and improve means to move the workload to the Oracle Cloud and then perform a tools upgrade to, for example, code current. That was the case with Vanderlande as well. We performed a standalone installation of JDE Edwards for them, and then we upgraded from that pristine environment to the most code current version. They had over 120 interfaces to integrate properly, which was a huge challenge, but in the end, it worked out. Also, part of the move and improve was the testing of the environment, of course, rigorous testing actually, including many users to perform successful UAT, as well as the go live afterwards. So now I will talk a bit more about Van Lande's personal motivation as for why they specifically chose Oracle Cloud over the other vendors. So Van der Lande experienced a lot of growing pains due to the limits of on-premise. Of course, when you're stuck to on-premise and you need to grow your company in terms of IT infrastructure, it can be very annoying to deal with um, different management layers. And once you have the approval, especially in Oracle Cloud or any cloud vendor, this is much simpler to arrange as opposed to having to contact various vendors and arranging hardware, etc. And one of the other main components was phasing out DB2 and AS400 because Van Lande was, of course, very interested in being a more future-proof company and moving away from the archaic infrastructure that they had. As for future potential, of course, that's really where the power of Oracle Cloud lies. They expected an increase of future transactions. So naturally speaking, they needed to expand on their current infrastructure to handle these future transactions as well. And hereby, I also refer to a quote from René van Sandijk, who was head of IT at Van Lande. He mentions that scalability was one of the key factors. And as we mentioned earlier as well during Prashant's slides, the flexibility and the ability to scale independently is a huge component and one of the deciding key factors for Van Lande to choose specifically for OCI as well. Also, the opportunity to migrate the databases to Oracle, of course, known for very strong computational and data processing power databases, as well as being Oracle on Oracle. That's a huge component as well. It's the same principle as having the previous infrastructure, but now future-proof. So what was Van Lande's success criteria going forward into this project? Well, they had several. One key component was performance. They desired, of course, equal or better performance for their application database. This means obviously not downgrading their current environment in terms of performance, but they really wanted this as a key success criteria. Then scalability, as mentioned before. Cloud is known for being a platform where you can scale your infrastructure properly, and it had to be a robust platform to scale their JDE efforts as well. Native technology, as mentioned in the previous slide, the Oracle on Oracle is one of the main key factors for Van der Lande, and also one of their success criteria. Costs, I think most people who move to Oracle Cloud are very aware of the fact that it can be very cost efficient compared to other cloud platforms. Being able to reduce the on-premises costs, that's one main deciding factor, but also the overhead by not having to care anymore about the on-premise infrastructure that you may have. This was also for Van Lande a good motivation. Then more planning related, they really wanted to have a strict planning as they're a very ambitious company with various different projects that needed to be within the scope and within the planning. And finally, they desired to have as minimal business disruption as possible, preferably less than a single weekend. So which challenges occurred during the project, and how did Van Lande and Questor deal with that? First one was collaboration, or communication rather. So initially during the project phase, we noticed as Questor that the people Van Lande who we had to collaborate with were initially a bit rigid, meaning it took a while for them to warm up to moving to the cloud. Of course, it's natural. There's a lot of changes, not only to JDE Edwards, but also moving your entire infrastructure, choosing a different partner. And these can be, well, worrisome, quite frankly. So we had to warm them up to the changes and reassure them. So basically, we had to practice expectation management and really get them on board. But we did notice that once we did get them on board, things smooth over a lot. Second, the initial start of the project. So as I mentioned just now, because of the initial rigid collaboration we had, the initial start of the project was quite slow, but things picked up as they got more used to working with cloud and working with a partner that took care of these issues for them. Then in terms of performance, near the end of the project, when we were heading into UAT, as well as after the project, there were some issues with performance. And what I mean by performance is that it's not necessarily always infrastructural related. It can also be, for example, a key component due to the platform switch from DB2 to Oracle database. And that was the case in this scenario as well. We had to do a lot of hands-on checking and fixing, basically, in terms of optimization on the database, optimizing SQL statements. But eventually, the upside was that they now had a stable system with good performance. And finally, the scope, because it was a very complex and sometimes unclear landscape. Sometimes these things aren't documented very well. There might be pieces missing or incomplete, and it's possible that these components that do need to be migrated to the Oracle Cloud are initially missed. So during the project, we received many change requests to include them. So after these hurdles, or during the project as well, what did go well? So eventually, the delivery of the project was on time. There were clear expectations set with Van Landen, and we clearly adhered to these expectations. As for project management, it was a very traditional way of project management, very waterfall-like, with different phases of very clearly structured requirements, as well as the project management itself and a steering committee. So there was good communication in general, and this definitely contributed to the success of the project. As I mentioned as well, cooperation, initially rigid, though afterwards there was great cooperation. Both parties were very invested. We really saw the commitment of Van Landen trying to make this a success. Of course, we also did our due diligence there and worked out in the end. As for commitment, people dedicated their time to the project. I think that is a huge component as well why it was successful. People really took ownership and went for the full 200%. And then finally, as well, one of the success criteria for Van Landen was a smooth transition. We did achieve that in the end with very little disruption to business continuity, and we managed to make it work due to good cutover plan as well as good planning. And finally, the lessons learned. So what did we learn from this project specifically? Well, actually, that most issues relate to some kind of communication. And it's funny, isn't it? Because if you really look at it, it's the human factor. You have to collaborate and you have to communicate certain plans, and being able to take away the worry of the customer in this scenario really made the difference in our scenario. Yeah, I think if you take away one lesson from this specific customer case, it's that you shouldn't lose touch with, for example, face-to-face meetings, or with on-site meetings with the customer or with your specific partner, because once you start talking through a screen and you miss these little subtle cues that you might take away, you're losing a significant part of the conversation. And it is these things that we were challenged with during the project as well, because there was, of course, COVID to deal with during the moment. So there's one tip I can give. keep communicating, and it's always better to give more communication or send an extra email to make sure that everything is clear than to not do that and run into potential issues.
Is that you, Stefan?
That's it.
Excellent. So if anyone's got any more questions, please feel free just to add these into the chat. There's none at the moment. These are a series of talks that we're going to give every month. There'll be no talks for the next 2 months just due to holidays. Everybody's away having a nice time. So July and August have been on, and we'll be back again in September with JDE operational reports. It's just really for me now to say thank you to Prashant. I thought that was excellent. Thank you, Stefan. And thanks to everybody who attended. And I think we're going to play you off now with a short video. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.